Maybe I should text them if I can't reach them. Hi, Mom. How's it going? Mom, I need you to sit down. I am fine. The boys are fine. I need you to sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been...
What if I told you that a brilliant law professor's life would end not in a courtroom where he fought for justice, but in his own driveway at 11 o'clock on a summer morning, targeted by those who should have protected him? That a family's bitter custody dispute would spiral into a web of deception so intricate it would take investigators over a decade to untangle, and that the very people trusted to love and support would become the architects of an unthinkable betrayal that would shock the legal community and expose the darkest corners of family manipulation? Welcome to Dark Trail Files, where we dive deep into the cases that shake us to our core and challenge everything we think we know about human nature. If you're fascinated by the intersection of family, money, legal battles, and the lengths people will go to eliminate obstacles in their path, you've found your home. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell right now, because this two-part investigation into the Dan Markell case will challenge everything you believe about trust, family loyalty, and the price of justice. July 18th, 2014 started like any other sweltering summer day in Tallahassee, Florida. The sun blazed down on the quiet streets of Benton Hills, an upscale neighborhood where professors, professionals, and families live their seemingly peaceful lives. But for Dan Markell, a respected Florida State University law professor, this ordinary Friday would become the final chapter of his 41-year journey on Earth. Dan wasn't just any academic sitting in an ivory tower. Born in Toronto, Canada, he had built an impressive reputation as a legal scholar specializing in criminal law and legal theory. His academic work was groundbreaking, his teaching was inspiring, and his commitment to justice was unwavering. At Florida State University's College of Law, Dan commanded respect from colleagues and students alike. He was the kind of professor who changed lives, challenged minds, and believed deeply that the law could make the world a better place. But behind this successful facade, Dan's personal life had become a battlefield. His divorce from Wendy Adelson, finalized in 2012, should have been the end of a difficult chapter. Instead, it became the beginning of a custody war that would consume his thoughts, drain his energy, and ultimately, according to prosecutors, cost him his life. Dan wasn't just fighting for time with his children, he was fighting for their future, their relationship with him, and his right to be the father he desperately wanted to be. The morning of July 18th began routinely enough. Dan followed his usual pattern, heading to the gym for his regular workout. This wasn't just about physical fitness for Dan, it was his way of maintaining balance amidst the chaos that his custody battle had created. The gym was his sanctuary, a place where he could clear his mind and prepare for whatever challenges the day might bring. Little did he know that on this particular morning, his every movement was being watched, tracked, and recorded by people with deadly intentions. What you're about to witness will send chills down your spine and provide the first crucial piece of this puzzle. Just hours after Dan's attack, when police began interviewing those closest to him, his friends didn't hesitate to point investigators in a direction that would define this entire case for the next decade.
I'm sure defensive situation, but yeah, I would not be surprised if that's how this all turns out laid out there. Okay. I think they're mean. I think to do some of the stuff that they did during this divorce with Danny, just not reasonable, and just you hate to think somebody would ever actually, I'm assuming somebody was probably hired to kill him. You'd hate to think that somebody would do that over really anything, but somebody did, so. It just makes more sense to me.
That's the
so I don't know if I'm reading that into
like
him.
Either her,
the father in particular.
Right, the father in particular. You just set off like a bad
at the memorial.
Only at the memorial, just because he wouldn't look at me and he didn't.
Yeah, I actually kind of tried to.
I was literally not
I'm sure
very
he was
far.
uncomfortable, so I don't,
But I don't want to read into it that much, because anybody could be emotional and everybody
Well, and
grieves differently.
if they don't have anything to do with it, it's horrible because everyone probably thinks they do, and they know that, and so that it's going to follow her forever.
But the only
if
thing
they
is,
don't
it's
find
either
out
her
who-
family, a bad student,
or
or
one of these crazy women. Huh?
yeah, or a crazy woman.
I can't think of anybody else that would want to, hurt Danny,
The words spoken in that interrogation room weren't random accusations born of grief or confusion. They were the calculated observations of people who had watched Dan live in genuine fear for months. These friends had witnessed Dan's growing anxiety about the Adelson family's influence, their resources, and their apparent determination to remove him from his children's lives. When the people who knew Dan best immediately suspected the Adelsons, it wasn't speculation. It was based on months of watching their friend struggle against what he described as a family that seemed to view him as nothing more than an obstacle to be eliminated. The investigation that followed Dan's shooting would reveal that surveillance videos shows a Prius tailing Dan Markell to the gym and into his Benton Hills neighborhood just before his murder. This wasn't a crime of opportunity or passion. This was methodical, calculated, and according to investigators, carefully planned by people who understood Dan's routines better than he realized. But here's where this case takes its first shocking turn. The investigation that followed would reveal that sometimes the most dangerous enemies aren't strangers lurking in dark alleys, but the people who sit across from you at holiday dinners, who know your vulnerabilities, your schedule, and most importantly, exactly what you value most in life. When Dan returned from the gym that July morning and pulled into his driveway on Trescott Drive, he was followed by killers who had been tracking his movements with precision. Markel was shot twice in the head just as he pulled his car into the garage of his Tallahassee home. The neighbor who discovered Dan described a scene that would haunt everyone involved. His driver's side window was shattered and he's spattered and can't answer. He's inside the car is running. He died 14 hours later at a hospital, but not before fighting for his life with the same determination that had characterized his legal career and his custody battle. Dan Markell's final hours were spent clinging to life, possibly unaware that the conspiracy that had targeted him reached deep into the family of the woman he had once loved and the children he adored. The immediate aftermath of the shooting sent shockwaves through the Florida State University community and beyond. Police say Markel was specifically targeted, a detail that eliminated any possibility this was a random crime. The Tallahassee Police Department moved quickly, creates tip line dedicated to investigation of Markel's murder just 3 days after the shooting, recognizing that solving this case would require community cooperation and extensive investigation. But who would want to target a law professor? The answer to that question would lead investigators into the complex world of family dynamics, custody disputes, and the lengths that some people will go to get what they want, regardless of the human cost. The first formal interrogation of Wendy Adelson would become a masterclass in watching someone trained in the law attempt to navigate the most important conversation of her life. Pay attention to every word, every pause, every gesture as Wendy attempts to present herself as nothing more than a concerned ex-wife and devoted mother.
Your ex-husband's home at 2116 Trescott, okay? Your ex-husband, Daniel, all right, has been taken to the hospital. He's not going to survive.
Oh my God.
Okay?
I have a lot of friends.
I know.
How do you know that?
Well, you had two of them up there for a last-minute lunch date, right?
Last minute?
Well, I mean, you went up there, you're sitting with them, you have friends.
I do. What I meant by it is that Danny didn't treat me very well. And I'm so scared that maybe someone did this. Not because they hate Danny, but because they thought this was good somehow.
Oh, are you saying that you think maybe one of your friends would have done something
Who
like
would
this?
do this?
I don't know. That's why you're here, and that's why we're talking. Would you ever ask someone to do something like this?
Not in a million years.
Okay. Do you think someone would do this for your benefit without asking you?
No.
What good does it serve?
I made my brother, the one, his name's Charlie, the one I'm really close to, he makes a lot of jokes in bad taste, and it was a joke he made. He bought the TV for me this morning that got broken, and I was talking to him about whether it made sense to pay to fix it or whether I should get a new one, and it was always his joke that, like, he knew Danny treated me badly, and it was always his joke. He said, I looked into hiring a hitman, and it was cheaper to get you this TV, so instead I got you this TV. I mean, he would never. He's my big brother, and he's been taking care of me since I was little, but he would never. And I told that to the repair guy this morning.
Right. That's okay.
I said, he asked me how much it cost, and I said I didn't know because it was a gift, because my brother said it's cheaper than a hitman. It was my divorce present.
Okay.
Such a horrible thing to say. I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But even my family, who felt like I had been mistreated, would never do something like this. Never.
Every detail of this interrogation would later be analyzed by experts, investigators, and legal observers trying to understand whether they were looking at a grieving ex-wife caught in an unimaginable tragedy, or someone with knowledge of a conspiracy that had just claimed her ex-husband's life. The way Wendy handles questions about her whereabouts, her knowledge of the custody dispute, and her family's feelings about Dan reveals layers of complexity that transform a simple police interview into a crucial piece of evidence in understanding this case. Notice how someone with legal training approaches these questions. Watch for the careful word choices, the deflections, and the moments where emotion seems genuine versus calculated. This interrogation represents the first formal attempt by law enforcement to understand Wendy's role, if any, in the tragedy that had just unfolded. But perhaps the most revealing moment came not during the formal interrogation, but in this phone call Wendy made to her mother, Donna Adelson, from the police station. Listen carefully to the tone, the urgency, the specific words chosen, and the apparent need to communicate something immediately while surrounded by law enforcement.
Maybe I should text them if I can't reach them. Hi, Mom. How's it going? Mom, I need you to sit down. I am fine. The boys are fine. I need you to sit down. I'm fine, and the boys are fine. Danny has been. You can put me on speaker. Yeah. Danny has been shot. And I don't think he's gonna make it. And so I know. So I found this out around 1 or 2 today, and I'm at the police station, and I'm trying to help them figure out who may have done this. The boys are fine. I had Lynn and Alan pick them up from school, and they're with Lynn and Alan right now. And I'm gonna leave here soon and go be with them. But I really need you to come here and be with me. But I want you to either fly, obviously you can't leave right now, but I need you to get yourself together. If it's too much to drive, I'd really rather that you flew up. I'm at the police station, and I'm gonna leave soon and be with the boys before they go to bed. They're with Alan and Lynn, and they're totally fine. Yeah, the boys are fine, but they don't know anything yet. In his house, I know. So I just need you to calm down before you get in the car, okay? Okay, so, and it's, it's evening, so if you want to come here tomorrow. I have a lot of people that'll, be here with me, and, we'll have a lot of support. So I want you to take your time and just be safe in getting here, but I'd like you to come when you can, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I love you. I think Jane might, I have the car here, but Jane might take me. I'm not going to be alone, so I have a lot of support, and I'll be fine. Yeah, if you could just come here, that would be great. He's in the ICU in the hospital. Okay, but be careful, okay? Okay. 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 Love you too. Bye. Mom? Oh.
You did awesome with that call.
Thanks.
You were so stressed out about it, and you handled it.
If he goes to the house,
Sorry, my mom might be calling back if she heard me. Mom? You did, yeah. I just wanted to ask if you could just tell Charlie for me. I just don't want to be making calls right now, so if you could just tell Charlie for me, that would be great. Okay, and just, it's on the news a little bit that there was a shooting on Trescott, and so I'm starting to get a lot of calls, and I'm not going to be answering them unless they're from you, so I would really try not to tell anybody what's going on just yet, just because, he's in the hospital, and Charlie, I talked to Charlie earlier today, obviously before any of this happened. I talked to him at 10 this morning, and he said that he was coming to visit you guys this weekend, and he had plans, and he sounded good. I just can't, Mom. So can you just tell him? Yeah, just tell him for me, and then I'm sure I'll talk to him soon. But I don't want to be on the phone unless I have to right now. Okay. Okay. All right. Love you too. Bye. My mom handled that pretty well. Could you hear her?
Yeah. I think, because you're a mama, but moms always go in that natural instinct to kind of protect and help, and...
Yeah. I'm waiting to hear from you whenever you can. That's Jane. When she said she's here if I need company or a ride, do you think she meant here, metaphysically, or here, in the lobby? Is she?
No, I think I would hope metaphysically. And again, remind me, Jane's the neighbor down the street that oh no, Jane.
Whoa. What kind of a rude way to say it?
The call you're hearing would become crucial evidence in understanding the family dynamics at play and the level of coordination that may have existed between family members. The way Wendy immediately reached out to her mother, the specific language used, and the timing of this call raised questions about what kind of information needed to be shared so urgently. Sometimes the most damning evidence isn't found in prepared statements or formal interviews, but in the spontaneous moments when people believe they're speaking privately. This phone call would later be dissected by prosecutors, defense attorneys, and legal experts as they try to understand what it revealed about the relationships within the Adelson family and whether it indicated prior knowledge of the events that had just unfolded. As investigators dug deeper into Dan's life and the circumstances surrounding his death, they would uncover a trail of evidence that painted a disturbing picture. Financial records, phone communications, surveillance footage, and witness testimonies would gradually reveal a conspiracy so elaborate and cold-blooded that it challenged everything investigators thought they knew about family loyalty and the lengths people will go to solve their problems. The Adelson family wasn't just any family caught up in a custody dispute. Harvey Adelson was a successful dentist with a thriving practice. Donna Adelson had the resources, connections, and apparent willingness to use both in service of her family's interests. Their son Charlie had followed in the family business, becoming a dentist himself, while maintaining the kind of lifestyle that suggested substantial financial resources. Their daughter, Wendy, was an attorney and academic in her own right, someone who understood the legal system and how it could be navigated or manipulated. But investigators would soon learn that beneath this veneer of respectability and professional success, there were dynamics at play that went far beyond normal family disagreements about custody arrangements. Documents show email evidence of Wendy's parents, especially her mother, Donna, wanting Wendy to coerce Markel into allowing her and the kids to move. The pressure on Dan wasn't just coming from his ex-wife. It was coming from an entire family system that viewed his resistance to relocation as an unacceptable obstacle to their plans. Documents also showed Wendy's brother, Charlie, reportedly didn't like Markel, nor got along with him. This wasn't just about custody arrangements or relocation desires. There were personal animosities and family dynamics that added another layer of complexity to an already volatile situation. Dan found himself fighting not just one person, but an entire family structure that seemed unified in their opposition to his parental rights and wishes. The investigation would reveal that this wasn't a family dealing with normal post-divorce adjustments. This was a family that appeared to view Dan Markell as nothing more than an impediment to their desired outcome. Someone whose removal would solve their problems permanently and completely. But pointing fingers at a prominent family is one thing. Proving they orchestrated a murder-for-hire plot would require investigators to uncover a conspiracy involving hired killers, financial transactions, and coordination that spanned multiple states. The first major breakthrough in understanding how this conspiracy operated would come from two men with criminal backgrounds who had somehow become entangled in the Adelson family's problems. The men who allegedly carried out the actual shooting weren't random criminals who happened to target Dan Markell. Sigfredo Garcia and Luis Rivera had connections, relationships, and most importantly, ties to someone who moved in the same circles as the Adelson family. Police arrest Sigfredo Garcia and charge him with first-degree murder in Markel's shooting death in May 2016, nearly 2 years after Dan's death. But this arrest was just the beginning of unraveling a much larger conspiracy. The connection between these killers and the Adelson family wouldn't be direct or obvious. Instead, investigators would discover that the link involved a woman whose relationships with both the killers and the family created the perfect bridge for a murder-for-hire arrangement that was designed to provide plausible deniability for everyone involved. Years after Dan's death, when Luis Rivera finally decided to cooperate with authorities and reveal his role in this conspiracy, his testimony would provide the first direct link between the shooting and the family that investigators had suspected from the beginning. Watch as Rivera, now facing his own reckoning with the justice system, describes his participation in a plot that cost an innocent man his life.
I believe so. I believe he was about to leave.
Who was about to leave?
Markel.
About to leave town?
Yeah.
How did you get that information?
I got it from Tudo,
Where did he get the information?
from Katie,
How did she know?
Wendy.
You think Wendy talked to Katie and told her Dan Markell's travel plans?
Yeah.
Were you present for that
No.
phone call? Okay. But somehow you learned that Dan Markell was leaving town the day after he was killed.
Yes, ma'am.
So it had to be done that day or he'd be gone.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And that came through Garcia to you from Katie.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say Wendy, did you know who Wendy was at the time that all this happened?
No, ma'am.
How was it decided which one of you would be the shooter?
Because I wouldn't want to do it.
You didn't want to be the shooter?
No.
And the woman who wanted him to be killed, past you and Sigfredo and Katie, the woman who wanted him to be killed was Wendy Adelson, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It was she wanting her children, correct?
Absolutely.
Rivera's testimony represents more than just an admission of guilt. It's a roadmap that led investigators through the complex web of relationships, financial arrangements, and planning that made Dan's elimination possible. His words help prosecutors understand how two men from North Miami found themselves in a Tallahassee neighborhood, waiting for a law professor to return home from the gym, armed with weapons and a plan that would destroy multiple families. Listen carefully to Rivera's account of the planning, the coordination, and the execution of this conspiracy. Notice how he describes the level of detail involved, the surveillance that preceded the actual shooting, and the apparent sophistication of the operation. This wasn't a spur-of-the-moment decision or a crime committed in passion. It was a calculated business transaction with deadly consequences. The woman who allegedly served as the crucial bridge between the Adelson family and the hired killers was Katherine Magbanua. Her testimony and the evidence surrounding her relationships would become central to understanding how this conspiracy operated and how ordinary people can become instruments in extraordinary crimes.
Ma'am, please say your name and spell your name.
Katherine Magbanua, Katherine Magbanua.
I see that you're in jail clothes. Are you currently in custody?
Yes, ma'am.
What are you in custody for?
For murder?
Are you doing a sentence for murder?
Yes, ma'am.
You were convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am.
And is that the murder of Dan Markell?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a trial in your case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you testify?
Yes, ma'am.
You testified on your own behalf?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And when you testified, were you truthful with the jury?
No, ma'am. I was not.
Did you take the same oath that you just took today in your own trial?
Yes, ma'am.
What was your defense when you were tried?
That I had nothing to do with it.
All right. That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers,
Yes,
but you
ma'am.
weren't in the middle.
Yes, ma'am.
Was that true?
No, ma'am, it was not.
Were you in the middle?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And didn't you also testify in the trial in which Sigfredo Garcia was convicted of murder?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
And what was his defense?
That he had nothing to do with it.
That we got it right in reference to Charlie Adelson and we got it right in reference to the killers, but he had nothing to do with it,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
Objection, Your Honor. B.
Overruled, Ms. Calhoun, make sure you have any questions.
And was that defense truthful?
No, ma'am, it was not.
So Sigfredo Garcia was involved.
Yes, ma'am, he was.
So why tell the truth now?
I believe that the truth needed to come out now so that the family can get some type of closure.
Why didn't the truth need to come out last year or the year before or the year before that?
I was trying to defend myself.
You were trying to get off.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you think you'd be successful in your trial with that defense?
I thought so.
Has anyone promised you anything for your testimony here today?
No, ma'am.
Weren't you originally offered immunity for cooperation in this case?
Yes, ma'am, I was.
But you didn't take us up on that.
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Because you thought you could get off completely.
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
And now you're doing a life sentence.
Yes, ma'am, I am.
Did Charlie Adelson threaten to harm you if you told the truth?
No, ma'am, he didn't threaten me.
Did anybody threaten you to keep your silence?
No, ma'am.
Did anybody promise you anything if you remained silent all these years?
I wasn't promised anything, but I wasn't promised anything.
Go ahead, finish your thought. You weren't promised anything, but what?
I thought everything was going to be okay.
You thought you'd be acquitted.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so did you know Dan Markell?
No, ma'am, I did not.
Did you have any personal beef with him?
No, ma'am, I did not.
What was your motivation for becoming a part of this murder plot?
Financially.
So not as a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Objection, Your Honor.
What is the objection?
I'll rephrase it, Your Honor. Was it a favor to Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it was.
Okay, but your primary motivation was not favor to Charlie Adelson?
Well, yes, ma'am, it was. And financially.
All right, because you were going to get paid for
Yes.
your part?
Yes,
How much
ma'am.
did you get paid?
I don't know the exact amount.
What was your relationship to Charlie Adelson?
He was my ex-boyfriend.
When did you meet him?
I believe that was in 2013.
Do you know what month?
Has to be around September.
Can you point him out and describe what he's wearing?
He's sitting over there with a blue jacket and a blue tie.
Let the record reflect the witness has identified the defendant.
The record will reflect.
Show you what it marked as states 48. Recognize this exhibit?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
How do you recognize it?
That's when we went to Key West.
Is that a fair and accurate photo of you and Charlie Adelson?
Yes, ma'am, it
Is
is.
that when the two of you were taken, when the two of you were dating?
Yes, ma'am.
Judge, at this time I ask to move into evidence states 48.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
48 is admitted.
Do we have that for publication? So was this photo taken before or after the murder?
Before.
Who came up with the idea to kill Dan Markell?
Charlie.
So Sigfredo Garcia didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
Luis Rivera didn't come up with the idea?
No, ma'am, he did not.
When did the defendant first bring this idea up to you?
My first recollection was around Halloween of 2013.
Around Halloween or on the actual?
On Halloween, yes, ma'am.
All right. What's your recollection of how that came up?
We were at a Halloween party in Lincoln Road, and right before we were about to go, he got in the car with me and he asked me a question.
What was the question?
Do you know anybody that can harm someone?
And did you know anybody that could harm someone?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Who was that?
Sigfredo.
And at the time, what was your relationship with Sigfredo?
Wasn't the best.
But he was the father of your children, right?
Yes, ma'am, he is.
So were you dating both men at this time, or were you only dating Charlie?
No, I was only dating Charlie.
Okay. And so he meaning the defendant, initially said, do you know anyone that could harm someone? Was he aware of your connection to Sigfredo Garcia when he made that statement?
Not that I know of. No, ma'am.
Did you suggest Sigfredo Garcia at that time to the defendant?
No, ma'am.
What did you say?
I just said yes and kind of left it alone.
All right. Did it go any further than that at that time?
Not that night.
Did you know who he wanted harmed?
At
that time?
No, ma'am.
All right. Had you become aware during the course of your relationship with him that he had some kind of issue going on with his sister's ex-husband?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
What did you learn about that?
He was just stating that his mom and dad was stressed, and that his sister was having problems with her husband and custody of her 2 children.
And when did you learn that the person that the defendant wanted harmed was this ex-husband of the sister?
I believe later on.
All right. And when did you learn the name Dan Markell?
It wasn't until, I don't know if it was on my trial or when Sigfredo got arrested.
Okay, so even when he was killed, you didn't know the name of the person that was being killed?
Yes, I never knew his name.
How did the defendant refer to this person, if not by the name Dan or Danny Markell?
Wendy's husband.
Okay. So you knew that the person that was going to be initially harmed was Wendy's husband?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and you knew that there were issues, or what did you know about the beef with him?
He painted this picture that this was a terrible man and making his family go through a lot custody-wise with his sister.
All right, and when he would say these things to you, is it in the context of his mom specifically or his family in general?
I believe it was more towards his mom.
Meaning what?
That his mom hasn't been sleeping, his mom is not eating. I know his dad wasn't the best health either, but he would refer to his mom a lot.
All right. And the reason she wasn't sleeping or eating, did that have to do with this ex-husband of Wendy?
Yes, ma'am.
Katherine's story reveals the human cost of this conspiracy that extends far beyond Dan Markell's death. A mother herself, she became entangled in a web of relationships and financial arrangements that would ultimately destroy her own family, while serving the interests of people who appear to view her as nothing more than a useful tool. Her testimony provides crucial insight into how the plot unfolded, how the logistics were managed, and how the various parties communicated and coordinated their deadly plan. Watch as prosecutors attempt to unravel Katherine's role in a conspiracy that she may not have fully understood when she first became involved. Notice how her relationships with both the killers and members of the Adelson family created the perfect opportunity for a murder-for-hire arrangement that provided multiple layers of separation between those who wanted Dan eliminated and those who actually carried out the killing. Her testimony also reveals how financial incentives, personal relationships, and fear can combine to draw people into situations that spiral far beyond their original intentions or understanding. Katherine Magbanua's involvement in this case serves as a reminder that conspiracies often involve ordinary people who make extraordinary choices that change lives forever. But Rivera's cooperation and Magbanua's testimony were just the beginning of a legal journey that would eventually reach the highest levels of the Adelson family hierarchy. What investigators discovered about the financial arrangements, the planning meetings, the coordination of alibis, and the aftermath of Dan's death would shock even seasoned law enforcement officials who thought they had seen everything. The evidence that emerged from this investigation would reveal a conspiracy that was both more extensive and more cold-blooded than anyone initially imagined. Phone records, financial transactions, surveillance footage, and witness testimonies would combine to create a picture of a family that appeared willing to solve their custody problem through the ultimate solution: permanent elimination of the obstacle standing in their way. In part 2 of our investigation, we'll explore how this web of conspiracy reached into the heart of a family that appeared to have everything money could buy. We'll examine the courtroom moments that revealed the true nature of the relationships between the Adelsons, the contradictions and lies that caught a trained attorney in her own deceptive web, and the jailhouse conversations that provided prosecutors with the smoking gun evidence they needed to bring this case to its stunning and long-awaited conclusion. The testimonies we've heard today represent just the foundation of a case that would span over 11 years and ultimately result in 5 separate convictions. But the question that continues to haunt everyone who follows this case remains as compelling today as it was in 2014. In a conspiracy this elaborate and far-reaching, how many people truly knew what was being planned? How many more were involved in the cover-up? And how many might still be walking free? Dan Markell dedicated his entire career to fighting for justice in courtrooms across the country, never imagining that his greatest fight would be for his own life against people who were supposed to love his children as much as he did. His story serves as a chilling reminder that sometimes the greatest threats to our safety and security come not from strangers we fear in dark parking lots, but from the seemingly respectable people who share our holiday tables and know our deepest vulnerabilities. On part 2 of this investigation, we'll witness the moment when years of patient police work finally reach their climax in courtrooms where truth and deception collide with devastating consequences for everyone involved. We'll see how a family's apparent belief that they could buy their way out of any problem would ultimately lead to their downfall when they underestimated the determination of investigators who refused to let Dan Markell's death go unsolved. This is Dark Trail Files, and I'm your host, bringing you the cases that challenge everything we think we know about human nature. Subscribe now and hit that notification bell, because the conclusion of the Dan Markell case will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about family loyalty, the price of justice, and the lengths that some people will go to eliminate obstacles in their path.